we've all had a really good time tonight, but we're also really gathering together because of one of our own. So at this time, we turn our thoughts to Gabe. So my son Jordan had the privilege of taking lessons here at the casino for many years alongside Gabe. And while Jordan's a very capable player now, from the very beginning, there was just no doubt Gabe was something special. He had this amazing topspin forehand, fully formed in 5th grade. I swear to God, like, you would watch this kid and he was poetry. This is obviously a very challenging time, a devastating time for the Rissman family. And no words can fully express how we feel as a community. But all we can do is try to share what Gabe has meant to all of us. So with that, I'm going to turn to a video from Dave Webley. Yeah. From Dave Webley, who could not be with us tonight here in person. And as many of you know, Dave was a teaching pro here for many, many years, and certainly many of Gabe's years. And he was also previously the executive director of Kings County Tennis League. So here's Dave.
Good evening, everyone. I wish I could be there tonight to speak these words in person and to offer my support to Elisa, Steve, Ariel, and Bella. I think that we can all agree that when we play tennis, our true personalities come out on the court and our characteristics show through. And having taught Gabe from such a young age, from 4 years on at the Heights Casino, I think that I saw every side of his personality and watched him grow into become a wonderful, strong, caring individual. He had the most amount of passion and energy for not only tennis but for life. He was someone that you knew was going to be first on the court. He'd bundle through those doors, usually before a lesson hadn't finished before, and he would be last off the court as well. Sometimes you'd have to drag him off because he just didn't want to be off, wanted to continue playing, practicing, socializing. He was extremely caring. He'd always be working with his friends to the side, showing them how to do certain strokes and talking through some tactics potentially. And he really stood out as just someone who, when he entered the room or joined a lesson, his energy and his positive vibes were just there always, and carried a smile, always had a cheeky joke, and just was a pleasure and joy to be around. And his loss is tragic. I believe that his energy was so strong that it will live on forever, and it will live on forever in the tennis community and the Brooklyn community. And I feel lucky to have met him, and I feel lucky to have taught him for so many years, and he touched my life like he touched so many others' lives. And I know that from this moment on, his energy will help other people learn and play the sport of tennis.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone who ever saw Ariel and Gabe together and Annabelle knew that they were a tight sibling group. And they had each other's backs. So with that, I want to bring up Ariel, and she wants to share some thoughts about Gabe.
Hi everyone, I'm Ariel, Gabe's older sister. What a perfect way to honor Gabe, honestly. So I just want to start off by thanking everyone here and those who couldn't make it for supporting our family and KCTL through this evening's event. The outpouring of love and care from this really incredibly special community over the past several months has been utterly overwhelming, and we could simply not have gone through this without you guys, truly. And a special thank you to Dave Webley, who unfortunately couldn't be here. We hope can be here in the future. Karen Taya, Nora Ryan, Lynette Battle, among so many others, for your warmth and love throughout the planning of this event. Tennis was Gabe's center, and like for many, it was his physical and emotional haven, a space for him to work through personal challenges and gain perspective. Through tennis, he learned important life skills that he carried with him off the court, such as the power of trusting in oneself and embracing one's personal power, the payoff of perseverance, and the virtue of generosity through good sportsmanship. Gabe embodied these qualities to the fullest, and therefore it was no surprise he was elected captain of his team at Taft School his senior year, and he carried them to an undefeated season. Unlike in the game of Monopoly, the board game that Gabe was utterly obsessed with when we were kids, where he would proceed to hide the play money underneath the board until the end of the game, dumbfounding me with his endless victories. His sportsmanship with tennis was unmatched and truly a beautiful thing to watch. Every time he stepped up on the court, Gabe kept his laser focus and played each point with purpose and heart. And off the court, Gabe engaged in countless activities to help enhance his game, such as meditation and mindfulness, cross fitness, hot yoga, sports psychology, and nutrition. He really did it all. All of these components worked together in harmony to not only strengthen his game, but also to improve his life and well-being. Gabe was obsessed with watching tennis and did so every spare moment of time. He loved the fire of Rafa and the coolness and composure of Federer. And as a 14-year-old boy, Gabe's dream job was to be a ball boy at the US Open, which he did so for over 4 summers. Super selective, so it was really impressive, but I wasn't surprised. And he was even promoted to Arthur Ashe Stadium, where he worked alongside some of the world's greatest players, serving them and taking their sweaty towels. And the sport of tennis instilled in Gabe a confidence that he carried with him off the court and exuded throughout many facets of his life, such as in the classroom at Packer, Ross, and Taft, as the most incredible big brother and role model to Bella, who isn't here, but she's in the other room, and as a compassionate and loyal friend towards his seemingly infinite amount of loved ones. He has more friends than I can even imagine. Gabe was the kid who would cross the street to embrace a familiar face, and he did so intentionally and with sincerity. He was a selfless giver who always wanted to lift others up and empower them to be their best, most authentic selves. And shortly after Gabe's passing this past December, which was very recently, we created a multi-purpose fund in his name in order to support underserved youth through tennis, as well as fund mental health and substance abuse organizations. And when Dave Webley asked us if we wanted to honor Gabe by partnering with KCTL, we thought what better way to embrace his beautiful memory and spirit than by using a portion of the memorial fund to provide tennis opportunities for underserved Brooklyn-based youth. And what better place to hold this event than where his love for tennis first took hold, in the Heights Casino. And whenever I take the court on Monday and Friday mornings, I can't help but smile, picturing a 5-year-old Gabe cutting corners when Clinton or Dave would have their backs turned during the warm-up laps. And in light of Gabe's beautiful and enduring spirit and generosity, to show our strong commitment to KCTL's mission this year, we'll be donating $25,000 from our fund. Thank you all again, and my dad, my mom, and I, and with the help of the video editor here, made a short video just showing Gabe's love for tennis. So, thank you.
I'm in the tennis tennis academy, which is a separate program, which is part of the school.
Better.
And it's 5 days a week. I came to Ross because of the tennis academy, because it was really hard for me to travel in the city to different tennis clinics because there was always so much traffic. Also, I was able to balance my time with homework and tennis easier. At first, when you're a new student, sometimes it's a little bit tough to fit in or get involved, but I think that's with anywhere when you're changing. But after a little bit, I felt really welcomed, surprisingly. The thing about Ross is really disciplined. If you're not catching up with your work or if you're falling behind, they're not going to let you play tennis. So if you really like tennis and you're in the tennis academy, then you really have to focus on your schoolwork. For me, schoolwork is definitely my priority, and then it's tennis. When I'm ever falling behind, since I'm pretty self-sufficient with my tennis and my schoolwork, I will take tennis off for that day to catch up on my schoolwork, because we do have less time to do work than most of the kids since we get home later. But if you are not really holding up on your own, then the coaches are going to make you work on your schoolwork instead of playing tennis, which is good. It's good to be disciplined like that.